Why mid-engine? Why put the engine there? What's the advantage? Are there any drawbacks?
Well, I mean, mid-engine cars. I mean, they've actually been, in racing, they've been around forever. I mean, the auto unions of the 1930s
Mm,
were mid-engine
mm,
cars. And yet they kind of forgot about it, and then they started popping back into Formula One in the late 1950s. I mean, they were racing, all those amazing little 500cc things that guys like Sterling Moss made his name in what was then Formula 3 in the late 40s and early 50s. They were all mid-engine. What are the advantages? I mean, well, people talk about low polar moments of inertia,
mm.
but basically, if you concentrate all the masses in the center of a car, it's going to be more agile. And I think if you think about, if you had a sort of, I don't know, a length of broom handle and you had two weights on either end, and you threw it, it would be quite cumbersome. But if you put those weights in the middle, the effect of having that mass in one place right in the middle is lessened. So it becomes more agile. At the same time, there's always, isn't there, that trade-off between agility and stability. And therefore you get one of the sort of traditional alleged disadvantages of mid-engine cars, which is that they can be tricky on the limit, and some of them are. I would
Yep.
say, generally speaking, mid-engine cars, although much tamed these days, are trickier on the limit for exactly those reasons. They allow a much smaller frontal area. Means you have much less weight on the nose. I mean, in terms of pure speed, mid-engine cars transformed the face of racing. The moment that Cooper started winning world championships with mid-engine cars, I mean, the first one they won was in 1959, the next one in 1960, and then Ferrari, very as ever, late to the party, thought, oh, we better do one. And every single Formula One world championship has been won by a mid-engine car ever since. And it's one of those completely transformational technologies that comes along once in a while. And actually, I think a lot of it is that. I think a lot of the reason cars are mid-engine today are, partly for sound engineering reasons, but partly I think it's because that's what Formula One cars are like. And I think part of
Mm.
it is a sort of marketing thing. And I think there is a kind of like a cool kudos that comes from having the same powertrain configuration as the world's fastest racing cars. So
Mm.
I think there's a lot of that in it. I mean, disadvantages. I mean, packaging. It's very difficult, not impossible. I mean, it has been done, but it's very difficult to create a car which will seat four people and an engine within the
Yeah.
wheelbase. You either have a very, very cramped rear or a very, very long wheelbase, usually both. Um, it kind of means you kind of split your luggage. So, if you're lucky, there's a bit in the front, a bit in the back. It's not very practical. Getting at it, maintenance is obviously more difficult. I mean, there are reasons not to do it. But if what you are looking for is, dynamic response, and I guess looking cool, because mid-engine cars do look quite cool because they don't need to have, you know, big noses and radiators and that sort of thing up there. Then yeah, they have been for many, many years, the way forward.